Well, hello those on my professional practice course for creative individuals. Great minds think alike. But we're all in the same boat. There's not much diversity, so yeah. But anyway, moving forward with the actual task. This is my response to the homework task of week 1, answering the 2 questions in relation to the 2 videos. Now, the reason I've chosen these 2 questions, how important are team roles in each case for each project, and how do I think the decisions are made in each organization, because there's very much an overlap in terms of how they work in each industry. So in terms of answering, okay, how important are these roles, that would also answer the question sort of in how decisions are made, and that's the same for both organizations. But aside from that similarity, they are completely polar opposites. Now, if I focus on the first business, where you have Daniel, the designer, who's running the construction of this building. Now, I'm just going to take a moment to take a sign up. The actual video itself is about an insight into that world of architecture. But I want to focus more, because of the polar opposite, on the response to the actual content of designing that building. As we can see in the first few moments, we have Daniel going through the design process with the person behind him confirming, checking, and updating him on key information. Now this is critical. This ensures speed is assured. And in this industry, speed is critical, because if you don't have speed, the bills, they're going to go up. And then additionally on the left, you have the technician, whose job it would be to implement whatever the designer decides. So he keeps updating, hey, if we do this, we're going to have to change all this, and so forth, which will mean more money or more time, which in turn means more money. So it's critical to have that information, because if you don't, you might push down that direction in the design, and then suddenly, oh, that's just not practical, or it plonks on $100,000 bill. It's just not practical. It's just, you need to have that information. You need to have things checked, especially with health issues. And when I meant to say health issues, I mean with the building, like health and safety. Like, for an example, in 1987, I think it was 1987, you had the, what was it one called? The Citigroup building in 1978. Sorry, I just correct myself. 1978, where you had the issue where a student called in and found an issue with the building, where if it was hit with cross winds, it would fall down, which is pretty bad. So it's important to have checkers. If you don't have checkers, the visioner has to go check all that information, and if one person's checking that stuff, you're really open for human error. And in a business like this, you can't have human error. Now, additionally, we saw in a fourth role where you had the visioner, Daniel, taking his drawing and vision of the building and certain steps to a visual constructor, so who works with InDesign, Photoshop, whatever it may be in this case, and creates a digital representation of the building, which will be perfect for going back to the client. Hey, is this what you want? To confirm it, oh, I want to change something, do this, and that. Or in addition, taking it to those who aren't necessarily artistically inclined, like people who are putting in the windows, people who are installing the electrics, and making sure they know what they need to know, and if they have any issues with the design which could create hazards, or there's things that just aren't practical. Now, in terms of, okay, how important are the roles? Every role in this business is critical. So if you were to remove a role, the whole thing would fall apart. Now, if you remove the person, things wouldn't necessarily fall apart, because the nature of these businesses, you would have someone being able to refill that role. Now, so how important is the role? The role's critical. How decisions made? Very narrow-minded. The designer is pretty much running the charge and is taking his supporting staff's feedback, but he's still fundamentally the one running the show. While this would be drastically different with the other business video, where you have a group of practitioners coming together to form an entity. Now, in this entity, they will have clients come to them with problems, and I would assume that the group would come together and pitch, or someone would allocate this project to a particular person who suits that role through their, whether it be their style or what job they do. But you could replace the role quite easily, so it wouldn't necessarily be critical. In terms of the role, I mean the role, not the person. So if someone wanted, say, a lion chasing a caravan or something in Africa, you want a photographer or videographer with a bit of a brave side to go over there, get a lion chasing them. Not every photographer is going to go to Africa and get a lion chasing you or the van. Now that's a bit of a fetching solution, but it's just an example at this point. But what you might be able to do, if say the photographer who could do that suddenly wasn't able, you might be able to swap that to the graphic designer who could create a visual representation. It wouldn't be like a live action movie, but it would be an animation which might still suit the client's needs, but the final product has drastically shifted. So, as a sort of short summary to this response, in the case of the first video, you have Daniel leading the charge with a supporting staff, with every role being critical, not every person. Because the nature of their businesses, if someone couldn't do that job, someone would be able to step in and do it. The only person in that organization who probably isn't strictly replaceable in terms of their level of importance would be Daniel. But the actual overall role of everybody is critical. While on the other side, on the other business, the role itself, whether it be photographer, graphic designer, or style, isn't critical. That's very much replaceable, because you can replace something to find a different solution to the client's task. But the person is quite critical, because the person needs to understand the client, and once that step's been done, that information's been gathered, okay, they understand the client's needs, they may be able to change it to, can you do this for me? But if that person suddenly wasn't there, someone has to go back and redo that, which would then delay the whole project drastically. So yeah, that's my response to homework week 1 task. If anyone has any questions, let me know. I will do a follow-up response if needed. And have a great day. Yeah. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.